Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome into the KSL Stream Center. I'm your host, Shara Park. Happy Monday to you. Well, we are here. We have made it to what feels like should be the first full week of January. Last week, I'm still trying to piece together how that week actually panned out. I came back to work on Thursday, and I kept saying over the weekend, and my producer said, Shara, it's Thursday. It's been a little wonky, okay? So anyway, we are back at it. It is Monday, January 6th. Yes, we are. It is 10:43 this morning, and if you have been outside, you know we've got all kinds of things happening. Just on my way in, my drive from Sandy into Salt Lake, I went from rain to snow, back to rain to nothing. But looking up at the mountains, that's what caught my attention today. I couldn't see anything. And so I wanted to bring in an expert to talk about what is happening with our weather this week. I know we've got some changes going on, and so I am very excited to have with us Matt Johnson.
Hello.
Hey, hello. Okay, we got some weird audio things happening, so I'm going to pull these headphones off, but I think our viewers can hear us. If you're on Facebook Live and you're getting audio or you're not getting audio, just certainly let us know. We're watching the Facebook feed. You can also ask Matt questions as we're talking here today. But Matt, I wanted to bring you in. I texted you and said, hey, join me for a conversation because we've got a lot happening out there. I want to know what to prepare for this week. Really the first big work week of January, and I want to know what's happening with our snow.
Yeah. A lot of people, we missed out on the big storms as far as, the work schedule. Everyone's been off work or been with family, when all the heavy snows have come in. And getting back to work today with a couple of snow showers, it did kind of throw off a couple of folks just because most of this winter has been quiet. But as far as this week's concerned, you can see we'll start out with a couple of snow showers there and even some rain. Sherry mentioned that. It's kind of going back and forth. It's nothing heavy. It'll amount to maybe 1/10 of an inch. And so these snow showers will kind of be off and on today and even with some rain mixing in.
Okay, on and off, but it depends on where you're at. We are so
Right.
lucky here in Utah. When you live along the Wasatch Front, you could have an isolated storm dumping in one area, and your neighbor down the street could be totally fine getting nothing. So, Okay, tell me concentrated areas. Who's really going to get the snow today?
Yeah, I think most of northern Utah, Wasatch Front, these guys are going to be hit and miss. I think, just like our last storm, I think Utah County might get skipped out on this one. A lot of us saw, rain, snow showers, even accumulating snow over the weekend on Saturday in the Salt Lake Valley, but Utah Valley, Shara, got nothing.
Poor Utah Valley.
I
It's
know.
not their fault.
And it may be that case again today. They may just get some spits and sputters. But all in all, it's northern Utah today, shifts to central Utah tomorrow, out of here by tomorrow night.
Here by tomorrow night. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to read a couple comments here. Darren Brooks says, my two faves. Thanks, Darren. We appreciate you.
Darren, yes.
Scott's telling us he can hear us. So great, Darren. Thank you guys jumping on. If you have any questions for Matt, let us know. Scott asked here, what's going on with the polar vortex? Will it affect Utah? Explain that to me, because I am not a meteorologist. When you say these big fancy words, I say,
Yeah. So basically what he's talking about is some pockets of really cold Arctic air are going to dislodge from the Arctic and slide down into the eastern United States. We may get tagged by the tail end of that, which is why the next 7 to 10 days will be much colder than what we've seen for the most of winter so far. So, but we're talking about highs in the 30s. There may be some colder pockets through mid-January, but right now the brunt of it stays to our east.
You say that so positively. Just high 30s. Okay, I grew up in Utah. I'm from West Valley. I thought the snow and the cold was so magical as a child, and I'm sorry, but I've gotten older, and it is harder for me to appreciate.
It's a part of adulthood.
30s sounds pretty brutal, but we're going even lower. That's what caught my attention. So when are we? Okay, 30s today, tomorrow. Give me really the good breakdown here.
Right. So I think midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll bust in the highs that are in the mid-30s.
Okay.
And it's funny, right? Because we've been so spoiled this fall and winter. Our highs have been in the 40s and 50s. This is kind of our first real tap into colder air, but the normal high for the day is 38. We should be this cold. It's just that it's been so long without that cold air, and I think it'll hold on through the next 7 to 10 days. Could we tap into highs that are in the upper 20s? I'm giving it a maybe. We have to watch the cold air really closely. But even so, we should get highs in the 20s this time of year. That's also kind of normal. We've just been, I don't know, spoiled. We've been, right?
We were 55. What was that on Friday? That was our high?
That was on Friday. And then the next day, snow. So,
yeah.
Welcome to Utah.
Welcome to Utah. This is how we do it here. We like to keep people on their toes.
Yep.
Okay, so let's kind of go up and down the Wasatch Front. So you said Utah County not getting much, but getting rain.
Yep. I think they could get the ground wet, and we've seen a little bit here in Salt Lake Valley, Tooele Valley, and points northward into Davis, Weber, Box Elder, Cache. But this is not a big storm. I don't see much in the way of accumulation, even for the heavy pockets in the valleys. At the most, a skiff. But with the atmosphere, the way it's set up right now, the mid and upper levels don't support a lot of snow for the valley floor. So we're going to be riding that line rain-snow mix. But again, maybe a 1/10 of an inch of water, which it would equate to maybe some accumulating snow. If it was colder, we may get an inch out of this. But there's just not a lot of cold air. It's not happening.
Yeah. I'm going to throw some of these cameras up. I think we can still hear your audio as I do it. Let me test this. So speaking of that valley floor, we lose audio if I take that camera. So I really don't know how to do that for you. So that was a UDOT camera here that was showing rain on the valley floor. But one thing I want to bring up, Matt, is some of these cameras that I'm seeing from the different ski areas. Let me pull one of these up and see if we can still get audio. Yeah, I don't see audio going out if I do that. Well, dang it, I'm still figuring out the system. Still learning that. But we talk about our mountains right now.
Yeah.
Okay. We had a kind of would you call it a rough start to the ski season?
I would definitely call it a rough start. But I was looking at the numbers. The last 10 days, Alta has seen 77 inches of snow. And so that's really nice, getting us back up to where we should be for this time of year. In fact, the snowpack, if you look at it statewide, is sitting at roughly 100% of normal. But that's really lopsided because a lot of the heavier snow and biggest snowpack has been in the northern 2/3 of the state. Southwest Utah and south central Utah, struggling anywhere from 40 to 50% of normal for the day. And so the big story's been storms passing to the north, but nothing to the south. So it's kind of deceptive, that 100% of normal for the snowpack.
Yeah. How does that affect them long term?
I think
for southern Utah.
Right. I presume through January, February, March, we should get some more storms to the south. But long term, if we can't get things going, that's going to play into our reservoir levels. Luckily, headed into this year, reservoir levels, our reserve of water for summer drinking, is sitting pretty good, above normal. But that's because of the last 2 years that have produced. But if we go this year without much in southern central Utah, we'll likely start out next year headed into winter with really low reservoir levels. Okay,
so what do we need to happen right now? As we start off this new year, what needs to we need these little pocket storms, correct? Kind of one after another, or we need a big dump of snow? What do we need to get just back on track and to be square for the end of the season?
Well, we can continue to what we're doing in northern Utah, but what's going to have to happen is we need the storm track and the jet stream to slide south. So we're going to need kind of a more El Nino-esque pattern. Right now it's very La Nina, but that's what we expect this winter because that's the way the large-scale pattern has set up. And so that usually favors northern Utah, the Pacific Northwest, northern Rockies. We will need a big pattern change to get southern Utah going. And Arizona is doing really bad. I mean, we're talking about 5 to 15% of normal in some of their mountain snowpack areas. So
that makes me worried about wildfire season.
Right.
I know we always talk about that, and it's hit and miss, but when I hear that Arizona is not getting the water, then I worry that's going to kind of creep its way up to us.
Yep.
Okay. Darren Brooks has a question. East winds, Davis County tomorrow, question mark?
I've been looking at that, Darren, and I think that the mouths of the canyons will get the most of the action. It doesn't look like a big downslope event simply because it's not very organized from the top to the bottom. This low pressure system approaching from northern Nevada, then sliding into Las Vegas, which is a position in which we do anticipate those east winds. But I think at the most enhanced canyon winds, yes, it's probably going to keep you up at night, but I don't see it being a large or high end on the scale event simply because there's just not a ton of cold air with it coming from Wyoming.
Okay. Another question was, just a statement. Raylene said nothing in Taylorsville. At what point does the valley to the west side of the valley, when do they really start to, what would it take to get them some snow, some good snow?
Yeah, well, it's funny because when you look at radar, it's lit up right over Taylorsville right now. However,
but it's not coming down.
Yep, there's a little bit of a dry layer underneath the clouds, and this again that just speaks to how light this precipitation is. To get things going for Taylorsville, we'd probably need a little more action off the lake, a little more enhancement. They typically do better, if we can get the lake going, but without a ton of cold air, that's going to be hard to do, just simply because the lake is a little bit colder this time of year. So Taylorsville, you may get skipped. There's still a chance for showers later today for you guys.
Okay. All right, Matt, what else do we need to know? So prepping for the rest of the week ahead. So Monday, we all woke up to a variation of things happening. For me, it was rain. For some, it was snow. What else in terms of do I need to be prepared for the rest of the week? Other than the cold snap you said that's coming.
Right, yeah. I would say if you live Davis, Weber counties, if you live towards a canyon mouth, Darren Brooks hit on this a little bit, you're going to get a little bit of an east wind. It's not going to be anything strong or damaging right now. It does not look that way, but you're going to get, it may keep you up at night. Some rustling of the branches, maybe some stuff moving around in the backyard, and we may see a little bit of those enhanced canyon winds the next 2 nights. But all in all, a dry pattern. I've got dry weather for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, even Friday. But then Saturday, it looks like another storm system with cold air. And the colder the storm, usually the less water it has. And so we might see some light snow on Saturday out of that system.
Okay, and we need the snow up in the mountains. So if we can get it up there, that would be great.
That would be
Keep
golden.
the rest of us on the road safe. That would be ideal. We've actually done pretty well so far when it comes to traveling on our roads with any of this weather that we have had. But, new year, we've got some new stuff happening, which is good. We need that pattern to continue to get the water content that we need, and that's what we're talking about. So, all right, Matt Johnson, thank you so much. It was just one of those things. On my way in, I thought this is what impacts everybody. This is probably what a lot of people are talking about today because
top of mind.
It does impact so many different people in different ways, and it's good to hear from the expert, Matt Johnson, on what's going to be happening with our week. So happy New Year to you, Matt.
Happy New Year. Yes.
Happy New Year to everyone who is watching here on our Facebook stream or on YouTube or on our app. We appreciate it. And if you ever have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. We will circle back and try to answer those for you. And we'll see you over on KSL 5 News at noon. Matt will break all of this down once again for those of us who only caught certain pieces of it because we were trying to navigate different windows on our screen. Sorry about that.
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday. Still figuring it out. It's the audio with this system. I can figure out the cameras. It's the audio. We're still getting it. Anyway, everybody, thanks for being here. We'll see you over on KSL 5 News at noon. Thanks, Matt.
All right.